process on it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
episode 1133. 1133. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today it's Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer, plus the return of the much-loved news segment called News Random. And I do have that story somewhere, don't I? Yes. I have faith I do.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's in this bag. Boy, what a weekend. It's so much things that
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I ended up going down to a place called Santa Cruz, and that's a place where you go to lose your blues, riding rides and walking along in the beach, at the water, and then you reach for that wonderful thing that they sell at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. It's called a
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Ice cream sandwich popsicle covered in chocolate with nuts. Wow.
Mike's
so good.
Daily.
Or you get something else
Podcast
on a stick, like a Polish hot dog.
Yeah.
A corn dog made as such on a stick. You've got to keep moving. There's no time to stop at the Beach Boardwalk. There's so many things to do and see. And there was Greg Raleigh from the rock band. Well, he was in Journey, but he was focusing his Santana stuff. He was also with Santana and sang that Black Magic Woman. Yeah, so I took BART here today to work, and it's early. You gotta leave early to take BART. It takes about an hour to travel on BART from Podcastro Valley to Fremont. And it's the other thing. They only send the BART trains that are really small, that are as big as a toy poodle. No, they're regular sized BART trains, but they only attach 4 cars together instead of the usual 9. So that means you're getting on a BART train with a bunch of other groggy people that are like, and then so there's a lot of construction workers that get on BART, and a lot of people, I guess, that work at the hospitals in Fremont. There's so many hospitals in Fremont, so they're commuting down for that. Got to be there early. And then there's some guy. Look, who just walked in.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart. I just wanted to say I hope you had a good weekend.
I did.
Mike Matthews, that Star Wars movie's coming out.
Oh, the Rogue thing. The Rogue Squadron movie. And Jyn Erso, she's like the big major star from that. She's the first action figure for the Rogue One movie. She gets her own action figure, and she unveiled that over the weekend. And it also was announced was the young Han Solo is going to be performed by Alden. He's going to be Alden Ehrenreich is going to be doing that. He is 26 years old, originally from Los Angeles, and he is going to be Han Solo in the, going back in time to Han's early life. Who else walked in here, man? Who's that? Oh, Mike, it's Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, you're as tired as I am. Yeah, it's early. But you gotta get up early and start the day. I was thinking back. Oh, I got sidetracked, didn't I? I was talking about Santa Cruz or something. Yeah, and... no. The guy on the BART this guy was like, okay, a young white kid, blonde hair, looked like he was sunburned all to heck, wearing like a tattered white t-shirt and green, what do you call them, warm-up pants, the gym pants, and basically he looked like he just got out of bed. And he's looking at everyone in the car. He's sitting in that one chair in the BART that fits along the wall. It doesn't face straight ahead or face backward. It's up against the wall. So he's sitting there kind of staring at everyone in the car. And and everybody's trying to avoid contact with him. He's got these big crazy eyes. I saw him for like half a second. I'm like, oh great. As soon as they see eye contact, that's when they think they can come over. And then all the weirdness starts. But yeah, he ended up talking to some other interesting folks on the BART train. It was a bizarre trip. Luckily, that all happened at the very end. I hate when that happens at the beginning of your trip. And then you got to sit through all the weirdness that happens. Maybe a fight breaks out, all that kind of thing. BART. Fun times. I'm going to only travel BART maybe twice a week. But I would like to use it for my commute time, for my commuting, because it is available here in the Bay Area. And a lot of us don't take advantage of that. Anyway, I was down in Santa Cruz for a quick little vacation on Friday. I left right after work, got out by like 1:30, drove down to Santa Cruz from Fremont. Takes about an hour. If you leave early enough, it only takes about an hour. And I stopped at Coffee Cat along the way in Scotts Valley. Coffee Cat is... they've got one in Santa Barbara. And I think those are the only two that exist in the world. And I used to go to the one in Santa Barbara all the time. I even featured it as a podcast picture before. Oh, speaking of the podcast picture...
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture is with... the wonderful Bison Bentley, who also has walked in just now.
Hey, Mike, it's great to be here in this early morning time, and it's ungodly. Do you know that?
Bison Bentley is a very fun character. He's not... Let's just say he's one of the earliest characters I came up with, so form your judgment from that. Yeah. Wonderful. There we're talking in our cartoon, in our podcast picture. Wonderful. You know, I've said wonderful a lot. There was another phrase. I was using this word over and over again on the Friday show. Oh, it was like I was listening back to the podcast because I sometimes do that and cry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I say that phrase over and over again? Today I will not repeat any phrases over and over again. Damn it, I just did it. But Santa Cruz, wonderful place to go. And Coffee Cat, they made me a peanut butter mocha blended with their own whipped cream on top that they make. It was fantastic. Then it was off to the boardwalk, and I rode the rides, walked in the water, saw some insane, beautiful women in bikinis because it was warm enough for people to be in bikinis. Because it's not really that warm now in the Bay Area. If you went to Half Moon Bay right now, you'd have to wear like a big old, seal skin. Seal? Wait, what do they make out of a bear? Polar bear? What are they? Just a huge jacket is what you would need. And then finally, Jennifer Garner and Matthew Modine star in some movie like The Miracle Worker or Miracles or something. I would like to say... how far have those two fallen? Matthew Modine was in the wonderful 80s movie Vision Quest. And he's aged well. He still looks like practically like what he did in the 80s. Jennifer Garner's still beautiful, but they sold out for a Jesus movie. They knew, hey, I'm going to get paid, and a lot of people are going to see this movie because there's a lot of like faith-based folk, staunch Christians that would need to watch these kind of movies. So I was watching the trailer for it. I haven't actually seen the movie. Perhaps it is good. More than likely not. And I was like, well, this is how far they've fallen. And Jennifer Garner's also sold out to the whole Capital One. She's doing those commercials. What the heck, Jennifer Garner? And Ben Affleck and her are no longer. But who am I to judge? We've all had to sell out in some ways. It's all cataloged in the wonderful song by Richard Marx, It Don't Mean Nothing, the words that they say. Listen to that song now. Pause and listen to it. No, don't do that. All right, so let's get to the segment called News Random. All the fun past podcasts and podcast pictures and all kinds of interviews I've done, all there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. You can help out the show by clicking on that Amazon link, buying whatever it is you're going to buy. I work with this guy named Dalton. He's doing his own sports podcast, and now he's setting it all up at home. And he told me, yeah, I bought like $500 worth of stuff off of Amazon to make my podcast studio. And I'm like, yeah, you should have gone through my link on MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com when you bought those. You would have helped support the show. Now, because of that, I won't support your show. Because we're kids on a playground. And we're acting irrationally. No, that's... wish them all the best. But yeah, that's all at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com if you'd like to help out through the PayPal as well. And you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters.
News Random.
We work too much. Apparently. According to SantaCruz.com and GoodTimes.sc. In many ways, workaholism is as much a part of American culture as hamburgers, cowboys, and jazz. Oh, I've been to a great hamburger restaurant with cowboys playing jazz. A 2013 Center for Economic Research report called America the No Vacation Nation. It's true, I ran into a woman, I was walking Basel, and she was from Norway. Blonde. Fitted the stereotype. And she was telling me, yeah, you people here in America never take vacations. She said she has to take 5 weeks of vacation time every year. She's forced to by her country. That's wonderful. Fjords. And on average, U.S. employers offer about 6 paid holidays and 10 paid vacation days per year. Perhaps it's no surprise then. So many Americans are obsessed with their jobs. But scientists are discovering that working too much can have very real health consequences. A recent study conducted by researchers at the University of Bergen in Norway, there we go again, looked at more than 16,000 workers with a mean age of 37 years old. I didn't realize 37 was a mean age. I was rather nice at that age. Overall, 8% of the large sample were classified as workaholics, and they were significantly more likely to suffer from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, as well as OCD, anxiety, and depression. But is it the job that makes someone obsessive, or do those who tend toward the obsessive end up as workaholics? Correlations between workaholism and all psychiatric disorder symptoms were positive and significant, stated the researchers. Correlation does not necessarily equal causation, however, but according to the researchers, it's probably safe to say that the combination of both can prove damaging. A currently accepted definition of a workaholic is, quote, being overly concerned about work, driven by an uncontrollable work motivation, and to investing so much time and effort to work that it impairs other important life areas. But the University of Bergen study's authors noted that the line between excessive enthusiasm and a genuine addiction is difficult to define. Objectively, then, it can be difficult to differentiate, but the researchers also used language typically associated with addiction disorders, such as if work were the drug. In that example, an employee might use work to regulate emotions. So that would be like mood modification in addiction. They would also work longer hours to get the same mood effects, be distressed if unable to work, fail to control time spent working, and suffer negative consequences as a result of working too much. Mood modification and all that are all components of a psychosocial framework of addiction. Yes, I agree. Do you concur, Doctor? I concur. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Wow. I think maybe I'm a workaholic because I do this podcast every day. Who's to say? So many more things to get to. I didn't even get to the whole horribleness that happened in Baton Rouge and the Republican convention starting today, and all that nonsense. That's all kinds of things to talk about this week. Hopefully this week we'll also get on the Marco Minute again, and perhaps another Daily Haley and Jarrell Neme. We shall see, and what other surprises are in store for us. I do know next show, though, it is going to be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Floyd, any final comments?
Yeah, I hate it here.
But it's so beautiful outside of Cafe anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's alright.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!